Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today's video we're going to be talking about books that feel like autumn/fall because I guess people use different terms when describing this very merry and cool season. I didn't know that until kind of recently because, as you guys know, I kind of split my time now between Boston and London, and in Boston everybody says fall but everybody in London says autumn, and they laugh at me when I say fall because they're like, "What, are you falling down all the time?" No. The leaves are. Whatever term you use, it is that season once again, and I cannot believe the summer went by like that. I don't know what happened to summer. That's why I have my hot coffee with me and a stack of amazing books that remind me about autumn, and I cannot wait to share those books with you because they are not popular books, or at least not books that I've mentioned on this channel that often, and I believe that all these, if not most of them, will be quite new reads to you. So I hope that you get a lot of great book recommendations from today's video. But before we jump into it, I would like to thank today's video sponsor, Great Courses Plus. More on that later in the video. Okay, so I love autumn. There's a reason that my book, Project Red, that is not the official title if you were wondering, takes place in autumn. The amount of times in this book where I describe the scent of burning wood, the crunch of the leaves beneath your feet, and just the cool breeze of autumn in the air is actually ridiculous, and I should probably take some of them out, but that's what I'm talking about. The feeling of autumn. And so, because of that, I wanted to talk about some books and recommend them to you that make me feel like they are very autumnal and that they make you just feel cozy and excited to be in this new season now that summer has gone. So guys, with that being said, let's go and talk about the first book that I have for today's video. And that book is The Royal We by Heather Cox and Jennifer Morgan. So this book actually takes place over the course of many years in various different seasons, but something about royal romances reminds me about fall and gets me all warm and fuzzy and also down and dirty because all the drama. The Royal We actually is a fictional retelling of Kate and William's romance story. So it follows a story about Rebecca, and she has never dreamt of fame and fortune like her twin sister has. So she doesn't really think much about it when she moves into Oxford University and actually lives right down the hall from the future king. And even though Bex is not really entranced by fame and fortune, she can't help but fall for Nick. Because it's not his fame and fortune that draws her to him. It's just who he is as a normal, everyday human. But being underneath a magnifying glass where everybody's watching you doesn't really sit well with Rebecca, and she finds it really difficult to separate Nick and her romance with him from who he is destined to become and who she thought she was going to become versus what her future actually looks like. And this book kind of does flashbacks to past and then goes back to present on the eve of her romance as she kind of comes to terms with herself marrying the future king the next day and if it is the right decision. So it's kind of like those pre-wedding freakouts, but on a bigger scale because everybody in the world is going to watch. This book is so reminiscent of the actual romance that we got to witness between Kate and William, but also very kind of different as well because the characters are fictional. There's lots of fun parallels, and if you love a royal romance, this book is for you, and it made me feel so cozy and so just like warm, just like the season of fall does. The next book is very just cozy but also frigid. And that is Demon in the Whitelands by Nikki Z. Richard. I've had my eye on this book for so long and it just came out, and let me tell you, it was worth waiting every single second. It follows the story of Samuel, who is the son of a cleric, and he has always faced lots of ridicule and judgment because of that. And though he is destined to follow in his father's footsteps, he really just wants an ordinary life in the Whitelands rather than a life that mainly just talks about holy roots and demons. But then the mayor he claims to have captured a mute demon girl, and Samuel is to become her caretaker. But then he slowly gets to know her, and you know, their differences aren't really that different after all. And although they have lots of similarities, he can really see their differences as well because she is a demon after all. And against his father's advice, he ends up really starting to bond with her and seeing her for the girl she truly is rather than what the outside see her as. And the mayor, who they all seem to trust, ends up not being very trustworthy, and as soon as found out that this girl, this demon girl, is really being used as a pawn in a very dangerous game. It is such a fun but also bone-chilling read that I think is perfect for the autumnal but also Halloween season. The characters are so just intricate and unique and different than a lot of characters that I've been reading recently, and it's honestly a breath of fresh air. The way that Nikki Richard really weaves this world together is so seamless, and you feel like you're actually walking amongst the Whitelands. I'll be linking all these books down below, including this one. Okay, so I noticed that an ongoing theme in this haul is either, you know, fantastical books that take place in lands reminiscent of the UK, or just books that are set there. And so I guess going on that theme, it's A Discovery of Witches, which is my next book, which is by Deborah Harkness. I love this book, and I actually have mentioned this book a few times on my channel before, but I wanted to mention it again just because it's very reminiscent of the season, and it really just makes me want to reread it again whenever fall is near, because I originally read it during fall, and I'm always down for a reread of one of my favorite books. It's now also a TV show, which I've still yet to finish, but I've heard great things about the whole entire season. I only have gotten 5 episodes in, and now it is greenlit for a second season, so I'm hyped about that as well. This book follows the story of Diana Bishop, and she is a scholar studying in Oxford. But she's not just a scholar, she is also a witch who has tried to suppress her powers for her whole entire life, especially because her parents were murdered because of their powers. But things don't go according to plan when all of a sudden she is at the Bodleian Library in Oxford, and she pulls up this research book called Ashmole 782, and she thinks nothing of it. She jots down some notes from it and then banishes it back to the stacks. And then a lot of things start to happen after that, because that book is not just any book. It is a book that has been lost for generations and that lots of people want. And by lots of people, I mean demons, vampires, and the witches. Because it has the answers to their beginnings. And it can unravel and destroy each of those groups if put in the wrong hands. Because Diana was the only person who has seen this book and has touched it and who has looked inside of it for pretty much majority of known history, she is now wanted. So she teams up with Matthew Claremont, who is a swoon-worthy, smart wine connoisseur of a vampire who ends up coming into her life at the right time, and she entrusts with helping save her and save all the species pretty much. But the thing is, they don't have the book at hand. She banished it back to the stacks, and from there, it disappeared once more. So they need to find the book and make sure it does not end up in the enemy's hands, because the whole world could be at stake if that happens. This book is such atmospheric storytelling. You feel like you're walking along the cobblestones in Oxford and into these enormous, beautiful, ancient houses and talking to these people who have been alive for thousands upon thousands of years, and it's just such an amazing novel. I adored it. I owe a lot of now my research that went into my book, Project Red, to me actually creaking open this book and kind of falling into Diana's story and her love for history and how it really just transcends from just on the page to everyday life. It's just such an incredible story. Deborah Harkness is a gifted and talented writer. I highly recommend this book, and also the TV show, because what I've seen of it, it's phenomenal as well. And I've been to Oxford many times. I love it. The Bodleian is really cool. I have not been inside yet, but I've been outside, and if that speaks for anything that is within, I need to get inside. Okay, so this next book is one of my longtime favorites. I read this book, oh gosh, probably 5 years ago, not 5, maybe 4. I'm really bad with times and when I've read books, but I know that it was quite a little bit ago when I was in the middle of my ginormous Scottish book reading phase, and I stumbled across this book, which is called The Falconer by Elizabeth May, and I was like, this is everything that I've ever wanted from a book. And it was such a delight to read it, and also an incredible world built upon the background of Edinburgh in the, I believe, 1800s? Yeah, 1844. Imagine Edinburgh, Scotland, but with fae. So this book follows the story of Lady Olenna, and she is a falconer, this race of people who are warriors whose main purpose is to kill the fae. So she has this rare ability to sense this evil fairy race who have been slaughtering humans for sport and for fun and just for their bloodlust. And the reason that she is doing this is because her mother was murdered by the Fae, and she wants to kill them before they can murder any other innocent humans like her mother. But things get a lot more complicated the more she goes and dives into this very intricate world where humans and Fae seemingly don't align, but yet they may be more similar than she ever have thought. There's romance, there's badassery, there is just an incredible, rich story here with just such an epic backdrop, because I don't know about you, but like for me, whenever I'm in Scotland, I just instantly get autumnal and just cozy vibes, and this book is like the epitome of that, but with fairies and badass women and blood and Scotland and pretty dresses and everything that I think that you guys will love. It's a trilogy, all books are out now, so you can just go and dive into every single one of them and finish this incredible story. I definitely adore the Falconer, and I think you would too. Next we have a book, but also I would like to recommend this author's whole entire book line of novels because she is just such an incredible storyteller, and all of her books that I've read, which is about 4 of them right now, are all very fallish because they all are set within the UK with a very gloomy but cool and aesthetic backdrop of like Wales, Scotland, you know, the countryside of England, and it's just so good. But the one I want to recommend right now is a great one if you want to start off with a very atmospheric but not too long of a book by her, and that is Named of the Dragon by Susanna Kearsley. So Susanna Kearsley is the author that I'm recommending to all you fall lovers who want to read books that remind you of fall. So this book follows the story of Lynn, and she escapes to the south of Wales to go and kind of reclaim her identity after she lost her baby 5 years before. But Lynn is more than just a woman who has lost her baby, but also a woman who has been plagued with nightmarish dreams. And there on Castle Farm, this widow who she meets tells Lynn that she has been drawn to Castle Farm for a reason, and that these nightmares are part of that. So with the help of this brooding and handsome and just tragic playwright, she begins to untangle this mystery that is deeply rooted in lore and the countryside in which she is staying in for the holidays. It is just such a vivid and natural novel that just immerses you in the story so seamlessly and easily, and I just adored it, and I adore all of Susanna Kearsley's books. So the last one is The Lost Queen, and this book is so good. It's by Signe Pike. Oh, this book was everything that I wanted from this storyline, which I'm gonna keep kind of vague because that's how I went into it, but I'm gonna give you what really pulled me into the story and made me want to read it so hardcore. So it's compared to Outlander and The Mists of Avalon, and I also think it's very reminiscent of Lord of the Rings as well, not because of the high fantasy element, but because of the atmospheric element to it too. And it follows the story of a forgotten Scottish queen of the 16th century and her twin brother who inspired the legend of Merlin. Excuse me, sorry, I meant the 6th century queen of Scotland, not the 16th. Yeah, doesn't that sound epic? It's such an amazing book. The writing is so phenomenal, and I just adored every single second of reading it. But it's now out in paperback, and I just recommend everybody to read it. It's so, so good, and I just want more from this author really badly. Okay, everybody, so these are the books that I highly recommend you read. Go check them out. I'll be linking them down below, and I hope they really remind you of fall just like they did for me. I am so excited to read some more books this fall. I've been getting more back into reading every single day. I've been avidly reading for the past couple of weeks, and I cannot wait to share with you all the books that I've read. So stay tuned for more videos along those lines very soon. But don't leave just yet. I actually really want to hype up the Great Courses Plus, which is a incredible learning platform that I've used repeatedly for the past year. So let me share a little bit with you because you guys are gonna love it, and I have a great deal for you guys with the Great Courses Plus. I mentioned this service in a video that I did back in March, and since then I've taken so many courses from the Great Courses Plus, and it is truly just incredible what this service provides you as a person who is not in school but wants to still learn new skills. Great Courses Plus is a subscription on-demand service that gives you lectures from top-notch professors from like Ivy League universities. But not just that, they also bring in global experts from like the Smithsonian, National Geographic, the Culinary Institute. Like seriously guys, they have everybody on the site and there's so much to learn. I actually just finished a course from the site and it was all about urban architecture and how to draw it, because as some of you know, I own a shop that's called the Sasha Shop and I am an artist and I sell my art on that shop, and I think that as an artist it's my duty to go and expand my creativity to different realms that I normally wouldn't know how to expand to. And by using Great Courses Plus, I've been able to expand into urban architecture, which is something that I never thought I would ever be able to draw. But since I've been going to London often and kind of just sitting at the cafes looking out upon the buildings and wanting to draw them, that's been something that I've been trying to do for so long but never really had the knack for it. So because I've been using Great Courses Plus and their lectures and their teachings, I have now created really cool stuff from it. So if that course actually sounds interesting to you as a creative or as an aspiring artist or an artist just wants to really expand their knowledge of different forms of art like me, go check out this course. It's called Urban Sketching. But they don't just have artist courses. Literally, you can learn anything on here, from like fine arts to culinary to history to math to science. Everything is at your fingertips for such an incredible price. But before you pay that price, I actually have an incredible deal where you could take a free trial of Great Courses Plus by using my link, which I'll be linking down below. Seriously guys, I am so in love with the service, and I know a ton of you have gone out because I mentioned it in one of my previous videos and have taken courses and have expanded your knowledge to so many different subjects. It's truly made me so happy because you guys love learning like I do, and just because you are not in school, or even if you are in school, it's a great way to just become more worldly. So go and visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/abookutopia to go and start your free trial today. And I think the thing that I love most about this is it's no pressure to learn. There's no tests, there's no essays. It's really learning at your fingertips at your own time and pace. And for me, who is a very busy person, it is really just relaxing and fun to do. You will not regret it. I adore it, and I have taken so many courses. If you would like any of those recommended to you, I'll also be linking those down below so we can go to school together, kind of. So once again, thank you so much to the Great Courses Plus for sponsoring today's video. I appreciate it so much, and I hope you guys adore it just like I do. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My username is @SashaAlsberg. And don't forget to go and check out my bookmark shop, which is called The Sasha Shop on Instagram, and you can go to the URL down below. And also, side note, I'm now going to be selling mugs, so go and check that out because there's a ton of little themed ones. And they're only available for a limited time only, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!